Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Malayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badharayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyaptarehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shri Medha Dakshina Murti Swamine Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Namo Vedanta Vedyaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine Krishna Dvaipayanam Vyasam Sarvalokahite Ratam Vedabja Bhaskaram Vande Shamadhi Nilayam Munim Sahasramurte Purushottamasya Sahasranetranana Pada Baho Sahasranamam Stavanam Prashastam Niruchyate Janma Jaradi Shantyai. Namaste everyone. See, at the beginning of the class, I would like to share with you a sad news. One of our students, Sukadev Vedagarbham, he passed away last week. He joined only, after we started the classes about a few months ago. He and his wife both were attending the classes. Of course, he was quite senior, much senior to me also rather. He was in Bangalore. So let us just all pray for his soul to attain Sadgati. And then have a I would say a noble rebirth if it is there. So luckily for us, he has been part of this Vishnu Sahasranamam group at least towards the end of his this life. So let us offer our prayers for his soul. Harihi Om Shanti 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 Shanti. So nice to get back to all of you after 2 weeks of break. Sorry.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Raghuji, sorry, Raghuji. What's his name? I didn't get it. I wasn't sure. What was
Sukadev Vedagarbha.
I remember now. Okay, thank you.
So Krishnaji, you were saying something?
Nothing. I just said.
Okay. Right. So after 2 weeks of break, nice to connect back with you all. So without spending more time, we will straight away go into the sloka that we were seeing. Mahavaraho Govindaha Sushena Kanakangadi Guhyo Gabhiro Gahano Guptaschakragadhadharaha. So I think this was the sloka that we were seeing in the last class. And the last nama, if I am not wrong, we saw was Guhya.
Isn't it Gabiraga? Isn't it? We have to start Gabiraga, right?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. I mean, I thought it was Guhya, but Gabira is the next nama. Yeah.
Yes. We have to start Gabiraga. We finished.
Yeah, start Gabiraga. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Correct,
Thank you.
So I thought I'll just take one step back and then remind ourselves that what was the last nama we saw.
Okay.
Which was Guhya. Guhya is one who is a secret. And as I was telling you in the last class, that, this entire knowledge of Bhagavan is, what Ishvara is a secret. Because everybody worships Ishvara or God or whatever name that they call, but nobody, or rather very few people, understand the real nature of that Bhagavan. And what has been happening is, all the Nama Rupas have been taken as the Bhagavan himself, not as a representative or I would put it manifestation of Bhagavan, but the Nama Rupas that we are all worshipping has been taken as Bhagavan himself. And even though everybody says God, Bhagavan, Ishvara, worship, devotion, everything, very few people understand what that Bhagavan actually is. And this Vishnu Sahasranamam is one of the methods or one of the tools for us to discover that Bhagavan. What exactly is that nature of that Bhagavan? So that which is known to everybody, or everybody thinks they know, but still they don't know, that is a secret. And that is why he is given the Nama as Guhya. And as I told you, the Vedas, the Upanishads, basically, which actually reveal the true nature of Bhagavan, they themselves are Rahasya. Today's situation, the Upanishads are being talked to everybody rather. Thanks to Swami Chinmayananda ji and also Puja Swamiji and all. This was which is supposed to be secret, not to be told or to be taught only to people who are adhikaris. Today, those doors are opened and everybody can learn what is there in the Upanishads. But even after that, Upanishads still remain a rahasya for all those who are not adhikaris, who do not understand, do not have the necessary qualifications to study and understand the Upanishads. So from that angle also, even if you teach everything to people, unless they have got the adhikaritvam, they will not understand what is said in the Upanishads. And therefore also, Bhagavan is Guhya. Because Upanishads is the one which primarily reveal the nature of the Bhagavan. We can discover Bhagavan only by studying the Upanishads. So that is the Guhya. Next Nama is Gabhira. Gabhira means profound. Jnaneshwarya Balaviryadibihi Gabhira. So we have just now seen Guhya, who is a secret. And even if one knows the secret, again, there could be a misunderstanding that I know what Bhagavan is, Sachidananda Swarupa. He is limitless. He is Sarvavyapi, all pervading. All that I fully understand. But that understanding will be incomplete as long as one takes oneself as I am a small Atma, like one small organ in our body, and he is Paramatma, great Atma. So that misunderstanding could still linger on. The secret is of the entire knowledge or discovery of Bhagavan. What is the secret? The secret is Advaitam. There is no difference between Atma, Jivatma and Paramatma. They are one and the same. This is the secret. And Atma is Parameshwara, who is Gabhira. Gabhira, actually, you can understand this as Gambhira also. Profound. Parameshwara is Gabhira, unfathomable, because he is endowed with all jnana, knowledge, Aishwarya, overlordship, Bala, strength, Virya, prowess, etc. We have seen all that, definition of Bhagavan, the 6 bhagas. And he possesses, Bhagavan Paramatma possesses all this in infinite measure. And therefore, when we are looking at the Nama Rupas of Bhagavan, the glories of Bhagavan, one can never fathom all the glories, all the gunas of the Lord. They're so deep, they're so profound. Every glory, every guna in this entire universe is Bhagavan's guna only. So from that perspective, we need to understand this Nama Gabhiraha or Gambhiraha, very profound. And of course, we must always keep at the back of our mind as Advaitins. Whenever we are talking about infinite measure, we are talking about overlordship, we must understand that what we are talking about is my own self only, my true self, which is no different from what I understand as Parameshwara or Paramatma. So that is the meaning of Gabhira. Then next Nama is Gahanaha. Gahanaha means impenetrable. Dushpraveshataya Gahanaha. Avastatraya Bhava Bhava Sakshitva Va Gahanaha. So again, Bhagavan, Ishvara is Gahanaha, impenetrable, not easily gained unless one is an adhikari who is qualified. Adhikaritvam is very, very important. That is why somebody may be chanting Vishnu Sahasranamam for years together. He will not even feel like I should know the meaning of this Vishnu Sahasranamam. Only very few people will actually have that desire to know the meanings of what these 1000 namas mean. Even when they have the desire, sustaining that desire is again a very big issue. As we have seen in our own class, today we have got 15 people in the class. We started with 40 people when we started the Vishnu Sahasranama. 25 people have dropped out till now. Of course, there may be 1 or 2 students who may be traveling and all that. Even if I take 20 as the number who are still continuing with the 84th class that we are having today, 20-50% who joined with a lot of enthusiasm have dropped out. Why? Is it because they don't understand what is being said? Is it because they don't like the way that it is being taught? All these are all part and parcel of that adhikaritva. We must understand when we are saying that Bhagavan is impenetrable. To understand Bhagavan, understand Ishvara, it is not going to be a, what they call it, the fast food kind of a thing. You can attend 2 classes, listen to 3-4 lectures, and then you know what Bhagavan is. It is not going to happen like that. It requires sustained sadhana. And not only that, you understand what the namas are, you must also prepare yourself. Because the whole thing is about spiritual paths, spiritual journey. You must prepare your mind to absorb what is being taught, what is being explained. So, Bhagavan, from that perspective, is impenetrable, because one cannot understand, one cannot discover Bhagavan unless one has a basic qualification for that. And that qualification we can gain through karma yoga, other sadhanas which are all prescribed in the scriptures. And he is also Gahana, as Bhashyakara says, avastatraya bhava abhava sakshitvad. He is the witness of the presence and absence of the three states of experience: the waking state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. He is the witness, he is the Sakshi Chaitanya. But even though he is a witness, at the same time, he is free from all these three states. And therefore also he is Gahana, impenetrable. Then next is Guptaha. Guptaha means hidden. Guhyaha means secret. Guptaha means hidden. Both these namas, more or less, we in our normal parlance we will use it interchangeably, but there is a shade of difference. Vang manasayoho agocharatvat guptaha. Vang manaha agocharatvat. The one who cannot be objectified by the mind or the sense organs. Here Vang means it includes all the sense organs, not just the organ of speech. Vang Adhi, you can say. So he cannot be objectified. We have already seen Aprameya. Nor can Bhagavan be pointed out as the direct meaning of the words. He can only be pointed out as the implied meaning of the words. Because words cannot, the way words fall short of describing what Bhagavan is. Because so far as the world of words are concerned, language, they stop at the level of the mind, at the level of the intellect. They can't go beyond that. Whereas the true nature of Ishvara is beyond words, beyond the mind. And therefore, any explanation, any words, they will all, to describe Bhagavan will always fall short. And that is why Upanishad after Upanishad, they strive to explain what Parameshwara is, Paramatma is, by using the very word, and then Upanishads themselves, accept that he is beyond these words. This is the maximum that can be done to explain what Ishvara is. So because he is not available as the object of the words and the mind, he is Guptaha, he is hidden. And it is also said in the Upanishads that he is hidden in the Hridaya Kasha, in the space within the Hridaya. Hidden means not physically present. He is available in the Hridaya Kasha for discovery. That is why a spiritual journey, when we talk about, is not a journey undertaken outside us. It is a journey undertaken inside us. It is an internal journey. We have to travel and then reach that Hridaya Kasha. And that's why sadhanas like meditation and all are helpful in this spiritual path. So Guptaha. Then Chakra Gadadharaha. It's a very simple nama, again relating to the Saguna Ishvara, the bearer of Chakra and Gada. Manastatvatmakam Chakram, Buddhi Tattvatmikam Gadam, Lokarakshanartam Dharayati iti Chakra Gadadharaha. So, Lord Narayana is Chakra Gadadhara. We have seen the image bearing in his two hands the chakra, which is the discus, and the gada, the mace. For the other two hands are sometimes pictured as Abhayavarada, as if to say, I am here, don't be afraid for anything. And there are other images which actually show the hand down to downside, downwards, as if saying, come to my feet. And even though we have seen in the Puranas, this chakra, gada and all being used to kill, vanquish the enemies, the asuras, rakshasas, etc., from a spirituality point of view, what we need to understand is the chakra is meant to remove the enemies like kama, krodha, etc. Manastatvatmakam chakram. All these internal enemies, the Shad Ripus, they are all there. They are all seated in our mind. So the chakra has to be used. And while meditating on Lord Narayana, on Mahavishnu, when we meditate on the chakra, our meditation message should be, our thought should be, let the chakra destroy all my internal enemies, like kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. And the gada, it's a heavy instrument. Gada is a heavy, I shouldn't say instrument, it's a heavy arm. It is meant for disciplining the thought of the mind. Buddhi Tattvatmikam. Because it is so heavy that we can use it as a sort of a weight to keep our mind still, tranquil, calm. Otherwise, nature of the mind is fleeting. It will go here and there like a sheaf of papers flying around under the fan. You have, like we put a paperweight, we have to put a weight on the mind. And that is the gada we can meditate upon. And symbolically, they mean if Bhagavan is with you, if the chakra and gada are with you, all your enemies will go away. So the gada is what? When we say disciplining the mind, it is nothing but yama and niyama disciplines. A disciplined life is a dharmic life. We have seen yama and niyama, the very first angas of Ashtanga Yoga. Lot of people do say, I am doing yoga, I am doing yoga. If you ask them, what do you do? They will say, we are doing asanas. Asanas is only 1/8, one anga of the Ashtanga Yoga. If you don't follow yama and niyama in your day-to-day life, the asanas that you do is no different from the physical PT that we used to do in the schools. When you say, I'm a yoga practitioner, You must practice all the Ashta Angas of yoga. And that starts with Yama and Niyama. And Yama and Niyama are disciplines which is a basic requirement for any spiritual seeker. Because if you follow Yama and Niyama disciplines, your life automatically will fall within the definition of a dharmic life. Therefore, this chakra and gada, they are given as a upasana murti for invocation, for meditation. So the chakra stands for the manastattva, the principle of the mind, and gada stands for the buddhi tattva, the principle of the intellect, which he wields for the welfare of the world. Bhagavan wields for the welfare of the world. If we understand the chakra gadadhara nama properly, and then we invoke in our meditation, then we can actually make use of these principles for our own welfare, for our welfare in terms of progressing in the spiritual path. So that is chakra gadadhara. Then the next sloka. Veda swango jita krishno drida sankarshano chutaha varuno vrikshaha pushkaraksho mahamanah. This is 59. So this has got 11 namas. Veda hai, swanga hai, ajita hai, krishna hai, drida hai, sankarshanochuta hai, it's one nama. Varuna hai, varuna hai, vriksha hai, pushkaraksha hai, mahamana hai. 11 namas, right? Yes. Veda hai. This is the dha you must note. It is not Veda, it is Vedha. Vedha means the creator. Vidadhati srijati iti vidhata Veda. The word vidhata is from Veda, the creator. So in the form of Brahmaji, Parameshwara is the one who creates, making all the divisions and bringing about all the law and order in the cosmos. And what does this law and order do? It keeps everything in order in this entire universe. Water flows to find its own level. The wind blows and this order keeps it moving. We have eyes. The purpose of eyes is to see. So the eyes must see. That's a part of the order. The sun must be hot. Moon should be cool. They are also part of the order. If anything in this changes, the whole fabric of this universe will collapse. Similarly, water in its natural state is cool, but when heated, it should boil. That is also within the order. So all this order, creation of that order, sustenance of that order is what Parameshwara does. And that is why he is Veda, Veda hai. Then Swanga hai. Swanga hai, Swanga hai, the one who does not depend on anybody. Swayameva karyasya karane angam saha karoti iti swanga. So here the word anga, even though literally we can take anga as a part of the body, here anga means an instrument. Instrument or help. In fact, the word anga itself, when we are actually referring to the parts of the body, it means instrument only. Our hands are anga. They are instrument for, holding things. Our leg is an anga. It's an instrument for mobility. Like that. When we say anga, the meaning is instrument only. But then over a period of time, when we say this is my anga, this is my anga and all that, we have converted into body parts now. So a anga means an instrument or a helper. So swanga means one who does not depend on anybody. Because Bhagavan is now doing the entire creation, then sustenance, and also at the time of Pralaya, taking everything back unto himself. So many tasks, humongous tasks are involved. What kind of a help Bhagavan has for doing all these things? That is nirmana or srishti, construction of this world, of this jagat. So here it says swayam eva angam. He himself is the helping hand. He is the angam as well as the angi. Bhagavan does not require any help. Because any help that we talk about is all Bhagavan only. So, if at all we want to say help of Bhagavan, then we can say that he helps himself because he is the Almighty. Therefore, he is Swangaha. Then Ajitaha, the one who is not conquered. Kenapi avatareshu na jita iti ajitaha. All Puranas, Avatara stories are all scriptures which actually bring out this Nama again and again and again. In all his avatars, Bhagavan is never conquered. There is not a single avatara where say, okay, Bhagavan took that avatara and the Rakshasas or the enemies of Dharma, they conquered Bhagavan. So Bhagavan is the one who always wins. And he wins for whom? He does not need to fight for himself. He does all that victory of Bhagavan is for our sake. We cannot sustain in this universe, in this cosmos, unless it has got a law and order system, which is what the dharmic system is all about. Those of us who want to lead a dharmic life, if adharma increases, we will all perish. There will be no dharma and there will be no dharmi in this world. But Bhagavan has created this world for the purpose of what? For dharma samsthapanam. And that's why he takes avatara again and again when adharma increases in this world. So Bhagavan, through all these avatars, always wins for us if his grace is with us. He defeats those who do not seek his grace. In fact, at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Vyasa's words put through the words of Sanjaya. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutihe, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So wherever Bhagavan Sri Krishna is, victory will definitely be there. There is Shri, prosperity, Niti, justice. 18th chapter. So Arjuna, Partha being Dhanurdhara, shows that Jiva must be ready to do his part and also pray for the grace of Bhagavan. Then there will always be victory in all our endeavors in our life. So this is Ajita hai, the one who is always victorious. Krishna hai. Here the word Krishna hai, the Nama Krishna hai, is referring to Bhagavan's avatara as Vyasa Muni, the one who is in the form of Vyasa. Krishna Dvaipayana hai, Krishna hai. That is the beauty of Adi Shankara. I mean, the Krishna name, everybody, first name will come is Bhagavan Krishna, Sri Krishna. Or at best, avatara of Vishnu as Krishna, Krishna avatara. Whereas here, we have already seen many namas which have got the same meaning as Krishna. So here, Adi Shankara gives a different meaning. He says Krishna is here the nama represents the form of Vedam Vyasa Mahamuni. Because he was also, Krishna basically means dark, what you call complexion. That is Krishna. And all those people who are called Krishna are dark complexion. Vyasa was dark complexion. Bhagavan Krishna was dark complexion. And because he was born in an island, a Dvipa, he is called Dvaipayana. So Krishna Dvaipayana is another name of the original name of Vyasa Maharishi. And he was also known as Krishna. So here it stands for, the Krishna Nama stands for Krishna Dvaipayana. As I said, being dark in complexion, he was also known as Krishna. And being born in a Dvipa, he is known as Dvaipayana. And sage Vyasa, being the author of the Mahabharata, is naturally the author of the Sahasranamam also. He is the one who collected all the Veda mantras and compiled them in the form of the 4 Vedas. Again, he is the author of the Brahma Sutras and the Puranas. So with all these achievements in one's lifetime, naturally he is looked upon as the one in whom the Vibhuti of the Lord is manifest in abundant measure. Without the grace of the Lord, without oneself being the Amsha of the Lord himself, this kind of an achievement is not possible. So this kind of a special manifestation is known as Amsha Avatara. There are 2 types of avatars which our scriptures talk about. Primarily, we know the Dashavataras of Bhagavan, where he has taken avatara as Rama, Krishna, Varaha, and all that. Then there are so many other hundreds of avatars Bhagavan takes up, which are all called Amsha Avatar. The Vishnu Purana says, though Vyasa to be the Lord Narayana, because who else other than Pundarikaksha could have written the Mahabharata? So this is the Nama of Vyasa Maharishi, which is Krishna. Then Dridha. Dridha means the one who is firm. Swarupa Samatyadehe Prachutya Bhavad Dridha. Pratyucha Bhavad. Prachuti abhavat. Yansandi. So Bhagavan is Drida, firm, because there is no Prachuti moving away from his Swarupa, falling away from his Swarupa. There is no Chuti. As Bhagavan, his Swarupa is Satyam Jnanam Anantam, and his Samarthya is being endowed with all Jnana, Aishwarya, Bala, Virya, etc., all these 6 Bhagas in infinite measure. All these qualities of Bhagavan never get lost. So since Prachuti or loss or decline is not there, Bhagavan is Dridha, who is firm. And we look upon Bhagavan as Dridha because we want this Dardya, the firmness, in our own life, in whatever we do. We don't want a wavering mind. We don't want a wavering choices. Whatever we decide, whatever we want to do in our life, we want to remain firm in that resolve. So therefore, we look upon Bhagavan, and when we meditate upon Bhagavan as Dridaha, automatically we will gain that firmness. That is why we look upon Bhagavan as absolute firmness. When Bhagavan is there in our heart, then there is strength. Those people who actually carry Bhagavan always with them in their thoughts, they will know, they will actually experience that strength. Nothing can deter them, nothing can make them scared, nothing can make them afraid. There is an alignment between their thought, the words, and action. They don't need to tell lies. Truth, they live by truth. And they get respect in the society because of that. So that firmness is what we must all pray for, we must all meditate upon. We must be firm in our resolve. If we are on the spiritual path, we must be firm in that resolve, not to be carried away by all these material things which keep on interfering in our spiritual journey. So that is Dridaha. Then Sangarshanochutaha, the one who attracts and the one who is unswearing. Samhara samaye yugapat prajaha sankarshati iti sankarshanaha nachotati swarupadi achyutaha. Yeah, swarupadi achyutaha. So both the namas, part of this is the previous nama we have seen. Swarupadi achyutaha. Sankarshana and Achyuta, together they constitute one nama. So at the time of Pralaya, Bhagavan Sankarshati means draws everything and everyone unto himself at once. And he is called Sankarshana. This is his nature, one of his nature there. And he is Achyuta because he never falls from this nature. He never goes away from this nature. And there is another meaning for Sankarshana also, which is attraction. In Rama Avatara, Krishna Avatara and all, Bhagavan gets so much attracted. So he is Sankarshana because he attracts everybody, because whatever we want, Bhagavan is that. If we want security and happiness, Bhagavan is security and happiness. If we want firmness, Bhagavan is Dridaha, he is firmness. If it is victory that we want, Bhagavan is Jaya. If we want happiness, Bhagavan is Ananda. So whatever we want in our life, Bhagavan is that. If we understand that, we will naturally get attracted to Bhagavan. So he is Sankarshana, attracting, excuse me, everyone to himself. And generally, we experience that any attraction is only short-lived. Because everything in this entire universe, of which attraction is also a part, they're all time-bound. But the attraction to Bhagavan, that is not short-lived. It never wanes. There is no chuti or waning or decline in that attraction. That is why generation after generation after generation, thousands of years. Just imagine when Rama Avatara took place. Till today, Rama continues to attract each one of us. So, Krishna Avatara again 5,000, 6,000 years ago still continues to attract us. And in fact, the people who are getting attracted are growing. So he is Achyuta. It's an absolute and never waning attraction. So Sankarshana and Achyuta, Sankarshanoচ্युta. Then Varuna. Varuna here means the concealer. Swarashminam Samvaranatsayam Gataha Suryo Varuna. The setting sun is called Varuna because Samvrunoti withholds, conceals all his rays and the heat. As if we must understand all these namas wherever relevant, they are all figurative. Because there is actually called, there is no setting sun. Sun never sets, sun never rises. It remains the same. All this sunrise, sunset and all is from our standpoint of view. But from when we look at the setting sun, we can actually interpret or understand as if the sun is now withdrawing, concealing all the rays and the heat. And that is how the our part of the earth becomes cool. Also, the god of water and the even aquatic animals is also called Varuna. And when we do the Sayam Sandhya, the evening Sandhya Vandana, Lord Narayana is invoked in the setting sun as Varuna. Imam me Varuna Srudhi Havam. Those who do Sandhya Vandanam will remember this mantra which we chant in Sayam Sandhya. Srudhi Havam Imam me Shruti Havam Varuna. O Varuna, hear this praise of mine. This mantra actually is the part of Sandhya Vandana mantra, but it is taken from Taittiriya Samhita. So, therefore, the Lord alone is Varuna. Then Varunaha. Varunaha means the son of Varuna. Varunasya apatyam Vasishto Agastyo va Varunaha. So the water is Bhagavan, Varuna is Bhagavan, and Varuna, the son of Varuna, is also Bhagavan. And here Adi Shankara brings a meaning that this Nama Varuna refers to the sage Vasishta or Agastya. Again, they are also Amsha Avataras, partial incarnations of Lord Vishnu. So when we chant the name of Varuna, we must recall, bring into our mind those Vasishta, Agastya, great sages. Because of those, unless those sages were there, we would not be actually having any scriptures. Vedas itself, we won't be having that. So he is Varuna. Then Vriksha. Vriksha literally means a tree, but here we have to take the meaning, the one who is stable like a tree. Vriksha iva achalitaha stiraha iti vriksha. He is stira, stable, like the tree, and hence vriksha. Shweta Ashtottara Upanishad. Vriksha iva stabdo divi tishtatyekaha. This is a reference to Bhagavan. Vriksha iva stabdo divi tishtatyekaha. He stands firm as a tree. Achala hai. Achala hai because we can understand he is all pervading. So there is no place to move. So he is achala hai. Stira hai. Or these three namas, Varuna, Varuna, and Vriksha, can be looked at another way also, which is what Puja Swamiji brings a very beautiful, perspective. He is Varuna, the Lord of waters. Varuna, the water that comes from Varuna, and Vriksha symbolizes the entire plant life that is waterborne. Further, this entire Jagat is Vriksha, tree, and Bhagavan is that Vriksha. So, if we understand from this Varuna, Varuna, and Vriksha, it just represents this entire Jagat, which is nothing but Bhagavan. That's a beautiful way of understanding these three namas together. Then Pushkaraksha. Pushkaraksha has got two meanings. One is all pervasive. The other meaning is the one who shines in the lotus of the heart. Vyaptyartad akshater dhatoho pushkara upapadat ach pratyaye sati pushkaraksha. Adi Shankara sometimes makes it very difficult for those of us who don't understand Sanskrit or who don't know Sanskrit. He is deriving the word Pushkaraksha from grammatical point of view. Because the dhatu Pushkaraksha, dhatu is akshate, akshataha, aksha dhatu. Aksha means vyaptam, pervasiveness. That's how he takes the meaning of all pervasive. So the aksha dhatu has got pushkara upapadam. It is upasargam. So pushkara upasarga with aksha dhatu will become pushkaraksha. Then there is a ach pratyaya added to make it a noun. Pushkaraksha, all pervasive. This is the one meaning. Purely grammatic derivation of that meaning he gives. Pushkaraksha means all pervasive. Then the normal meaning, common meaning, which we all know. Pushkare, Hridaya Pundarike, Chintitaha, Swarupena, Prakashate, Itiva, Pushkaraha, Pushkaraksha. So, Pushkaraksha, as I said, is derived from the verbal root aksh, preceded by or with upasarga pushkara. Pushkara actually means pushkala. That in Sanskrit, the lakara in many places is replaced by refa, but in the r, that ra. And the pushkala means all pervasive. And he is also pushkaraksha because he obtains in everybody's heart, shining as consciousness, available for discovery in the Hridaya Akasha. Where the word Pushkara also means lotus. And the heart is compared to the lotus, rather. The shape of the heart is compared to a lotus, inverted lotus bud. That is why it is called Pushkaraksha, the one who obtains in everybody's heart, who is there as a Sakshi Chaitanya in everybody's heart, shining as consciousness. And that meaning, because he is available in the heart, which is called Pushkara, it's lotus, lotus-like heart, he is called Pushkaraksha. Then Mahamanaha, the one with a great mind. Srishti Sthiti Antakarmani Manasaiva Karoti iti Mahamanaha. Bhagavan has to create the whole universe after every kalpa, sustain it, and then resolve it unto himself. So for such a job, what sort of a mind does he have is a question. If he has a mind like a human mind, which has to think step by step and execute the jobs one by one, can you imagine? Bhagavan even cannot even create, let alone sustain and resolve. So to indicate that Bhagavan does it effortlessly, it is said, Manasa eva karoti. He does it sankalpa matrena, just by thinking, I create, the whole world is created. I sustain, the whole world is sustained. And I resolve, the whole pralaya takes place, Mahapralaya takes place. And again, we must not think that, okay, it is something like computer. Because in computer also, so many processes take place, but within a very short period of time. To us, it appears like it's instantly it is happening. But actually what happens in the computer is that so many processes, one after the other, they take place with very, very short intervals of time. So therefore, we must not understand, it should not be concluded that he has an elaborate thinking process which involves thinking, changing, rethinking and all. That's exactly what the computer does. Because he is all-knowing Mahamana. And that knowledge itself manifests in the form of this Jagat. What is manifest as Jagat is nothing but the knowledge of Bhagavan. And when we are talking about knowledge, it does not imply any thinking process, much less a faculty of thinking. So he is Mahamana. So we'll stop here. Time is over. I'll say the prayers. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Guruji,
Yes,
this
Namaste.
Varunaha and Varunaha.
Hmm.
Now, I'm reminded of this. You can see this. Are you able to see?
Yeah, slightly lift it up more. Yeah, it's a silver idol, right?
No, you can read bottom. Samno Varunaha.
Shanno, yeah, Shanno Varuna. Yeah, Shanti Mantra, yeah.
So
Because
this
Shanno Mitra hai, Shanno
no,
Varuna hai.
this is the naval insignia. When the Indian Navy was formed, they sent a proposal to Raja Gopal Acharya, was then the first Governor General.
Yes,
He said ideal would be Sanno Varunaha, means may the Lord of Ocean protect you all.
Correct, absolutely, very wonderful.
So yes,
very nice, very nice, very nice. Shanno Varuna.
Thank you very much.
So thank you.
Guruji.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Hari Om Guruji.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavadaha.
Namaskaram, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you. Hari
Thank
Om.
you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Hariji. Your hands are, you raised your hand. Yeah. Hari Om. Namaste.
Guruji, this is not connected with what you taught us today. It's a general doubt. See, when we are comparing human beings with animals and other animate and inanimate objects, human beings are at the highest level in the evolution. But in that case, why we human beings many times behave worse than an animal? Say, for example, this hoarding, greed, jealous, you take most of the negative qualities. That is only with human beings. If an animal, if its stomach is full, it is not bothered. It feels more secured than the human beings. Whereas human beings, even if I am full now, after my breakfast, I am scared whether I will have enough to eat for me, my children, I don't know, for generations to come, whether they will have lunch, dinner, and so I keep on adding.
Yeah.
Which is not the case with animals or birds. Once its stomach is full, that is the end of it. Though human beings are more evolved than the animals and birds and other creatures and things, why do we behave worse than the animals? Though from the evolution point of view, we are much more evolved than the animals and other creatures.
True. Yeah. Good question. But what we must understand is that in the process of creation, the human beings have been created as the most evolved amongst the living beings, right?
Yeah.
And through the human beings, what the creator intended was, I cannot be everywhere to sustain this entire creation. So I nominate you as my representative to protect what I have created, to sustain what I have created. And for that purpose, I will give you a free will, which I am not giving to any other animals or any other ants or whatever it is. Nobody other than the human beings, no other living being has got a free will, correct?
Yeah.
So there is a responsibility given placed on the human beings by the creation. Now the problem with the human beings is that the free will is like a double-edged sword. You can use your free will for productive, creative, protective purposes. You can also use your free will for destruction purposes. Destructive purposes, correct? Now, Bhagavan knows that. But if unless that instrument of free will is given to the human beings, those people who actually want to be the agents of Bhagavan in sustaining this entire universe the way it should be sustained in a dharmic way, they will be deprived of that opportunity to do that. But the downside is there are people who will misuse this free will and do harm to this entire order of Bhagavan. Correct? So the people who actually are the people whom you refer to, the greedy people, the people who do holding, the people who actually trouble others, they want, survival, that is live and let die kind of people. I should live, let all others die. Correct? Those people are the ones who are misusing this instrument of free will which is given by Bhagavan. So in order to put a check and balance in that, all this I am telling you from a Karma Kanda point of view, and not from a Vedanta point of view. You must understand that. So in order to put a check and balance in that, he created this entire order as a dharmic order. And if you go against the order, it is a papa karma. You go in favor of the order, it is a punya karma. So it is a once somebody understands, a human being understands exactly why the human being has been created. And even though it is the creation is beginningless, right? Nobody can tell when the first creation happened. Right? So it is beginningless time. So human beings have also been there from beginningless times, and human beings using their free will or misusing their free will have earned punya and papa, etc. from beginningless times. So what the system Bhagavan has made is that if you are intelligent enough, use your free will in a positive manner, you will be able to understand this universe. You will be able to understand the dharma, the order which sustains this entire universe. And once you understand that as a human being, then you will work towards sustenance of that. You will protect the environment. Today we are all talking about so many, environment ministry, this ministry and all. It's all embedded in our culture itself. But what happens is there are people, more number of people than otherwise, who misuse their free will. And eventually, through the entire process of creation and, that what the Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, eventually the scriptures say everybody is in the same path of which leads to moksha. So what we have to understand is that even though at this point in time we are seeing certain human beings behaving in a way which we don't agree with or which we find it destructive, it's a process which goes through, and eventually they will also become, those jivas also will go towards moksha only, and they will become refined, more and more refined as they take more and more births. So this is a whole thing that we have to understand, bring in our mind what that whole system is all about, instead of trying to look at it in parts. If we look at it in parts, we will get confused. But when we look at it at a whole, it's a part of the entire system. Then we will be able to appreciate that what exactly this entire creation is, why there are these kind of elements in this creation. Because even in the process of evolution, it is not that yesterday somebody was an animal and today he has become a human being. There is a transition.
That was my next.
Yeah, like the previous birth, I was an animal, and this birth, I have become a full-fledged dharmic human being. That will not happen. It is again a process, a conversion process which takes place. You may get the form of a human being in this janma, but your thinking process, your intellectual capability will still remain as that of an animal only. That is another aspect of it I am touching upon.
Yeah, no, that was my next question.
Yeah, so you will find many human beings in human form with animalistic instincts, because they are in the process of that conversion which is taking place. We must understand that this entire universe, this creation, sustenance, continuous process, it goes through various stages. To become the most evolved human being is one of the final stages we are talking about. At that stage only, one becomes more evolved, one becomes spiritually oriented, and then one has a yearning or a desire to discover God. What exactly is this universe is all about? And there are very handful of such people. In every century, you will find a handful of such people only. They finally evolve to that stage. So, even though we may see everybody as human beings, not everybody is born with the same kind of samskaras. Not everybody is born with the same kind of, background. If somebody was a dog in the previous life, and he is now, because of his, the Papa Punya balance, he is born as a human being. He will still have got a lot of qualities of a dog, which was there in the previous life. In fact, we have got stories where a human being is converted into an animal, right? Jadabharatan's story and all we have got in our scriptures because of too much attachment. So we have to understand this in a it's a very complex one, but we have to understand it in the process, how it happens. We must not think just because a child is born, everything is over and all. The child can become an animal also in the next birth. The same human being. So not every one of us is completely rid of all the animalistic tendencies, animalistic instincts. Now you talk about human beings only hoard. Ants also hoard. Instinct. They are driven by instinct, whereas human beings are driven by their free will and intellect. That's a difference. But hoarding is something which is there in the nature. Bees hoard. They take honey from everywhere and they hoard the honey. Isn't it? So if you actually start looking at this hoarding as just a one aspect, you will find that being done in the animal world also, but not in a very big way. That is another phase of that, you can say. So we have to understand all these things from so many different perspectives, put them together, and then try to make sense of what exactly is happening. Those of us who are actually now, coming to the spiritual path and trying to understand what Bhagavan, we can say that we have traveled through those paths in the past, and we have reached this stage and in this birth. This may again not be our last birth, but we have reached a stage, and there is never ever a chuti. That is, unless we do using our free will so much of papa karma in this janma, that our balance of papas and punyas gets disturbed in the sanchita karma bundle. Once we have got a human birth and we are in the spiritual path, we can fairly be assured, and if we lead a dharmic life, we can fairly be assured of another human birth, which will again take us step by step towards the final goal, the Parandhama. That is how we have to understand this entire system, this entire universe, the cosmic order. I hope I have been able to explain it because it's very complex explanation. But that is how the process, I understand the process as.
Okay.
So even when you are looking at somebody who is having some dog's instinct, you should not have any aversion for that person. Accept that person as he is. You need not validate what he does, but you accept that person. Acceptance of that person is not for the benefit of that person. Acceptance of that person is for your own benefit. That we have to realize.
How?
How? Because the moment I reject somebody, I am creating a problem in my mind of dvesha. If I have to rise above raga and dvesha, the only way for me is to accept everything in the universe, like we accept the tree, like we accept the ocean. Do we ever want a tree to be different color leaves?
No.
We see a tree, we are happy, we accept the tree as it is. If it is a tree if it is a rose plant with thorns, we accept it with thorns. Why can't we
even we accept a tiger or that we
accept
don't
a
get
tiger,
angry.
So
that it will be ferocious, it will kill, but we never blame that.
Exactly.
We don't blame that out. We don't blame the tiger.
Exactly. We know that it will eat us also if it catches hold us also. We save ourselves from that. That's all. That does not mean we are rejecting the tiger. Correct?
No.
Apply the same thing to apply the same principle to all human beings. There are tigers in human beings. There are snakes in human beings. Correct? Like we
cows,
accept the tigers
very
and snakes,
meek, we
cows,
never complain.
Yeah, we complain. So we just have to, and that is for our benefit. When we accept everything which is there in the universe, we are what accepting? We are accepting Bhagavan. Once we understand everything is Bhagavan, we accept everything. We are accepting Bhagavan as he is in every form, in every name, in every meaning. We are accepting Bhagavan, and that is the way to the spiritual progress in the spiritual path. When in the Bhagavad Gita class, Krishna talks about loads and loads about all these things, acceptance, samatvam and all that kind of a thing. We just started Karma Yoga in the yesterday's class. It will go on and on and on. Now he talks a lot about it. It's all for our benefit, he's telling. We have to understand, get the messages and then absorb those messages. Yeah. Yes, Premaji.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Namaskaram.
My question was, we repeat prayers like Vang Manas Chitta Gocharam. So I would like a little bit more clarification on that. The second thing is, why this preoccupation with Krishna's color? As a race, we are all about the same color. Why is that every time it is referred to as dark colored Krishna?
Okay. See, first of all, it is a Western concept that this dark color, this white color and all is making differentiation among human beings. In our scriptures, in our culture, there is nothing called inferiority, superiority based upon one's complexion. And in order to emphasize that, that is why all avatars, Rama avatara, Krishna avatara, they were all dark complexioned avatars rather. We never ever gave any superiority to a human being's complexion. It is only the whites when they entered and they wanted to prove themselves to be superior. The only way they could prove themselves to be superior in terms of white. Now, white normally is a color which is associated with purity. Right? Because Shweta Vastram and it is associated with purity. So in order to use, they use that psychology of our human being that we are more pure, we are a pure race, all that, we have been taught and our mind has completely changed. Otherwise, in our culture, there is no bias based upon whether a person has got any color or any complexion, whether he has got limbs or he doesn't have limbs. We don't have this concept at all. We consider everybody as a human being. We respect everybody for whatever he is. We accept everybody. But what has happened over a period is when we are today talking about the race and this, that, and all, it's all concepts which has been imposed upon us. There is no concept of any race. If at all we talk about it, we talk about four divisions of the human beings: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. That is what we talk about. And that is again not based upon the physical attributes of the individual. It is based upon the duties that are assigned to those individuals in the society, based upon their gunas, based upon their capabilities.
But this mention of Krishna being dark was before the invasions by Firangis. So why was this specific? Was it because he was different from Yashoda and the people? He was a little darker than them. Why is this special mention of Krishna as thundercloud or dark?
There is no
it was
Krishna
before
only.
these people came.
There are hundreds of Krishnas in our scriptures. Krishna is the one Krishna we know. He is the Krishna Avatara Krishna.
Okay.
We just now saw Veda Vyasa's name was also Krishna. There are so many Krishnas. I mean, any child which is born with a dark complexion was called Krishna. That's all. And Krishna means nothing, dark complexion, just an identification, a name. It is our own. Sorry, yes, Hariji.
In many places in our culture, black is considered to be as beauty.
True.
It is, yeah. And also you say Mega Shama Varna, that is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dark clouds and all that. Even.
Yeah, so we have never treated black as
exactly.
With a negative connotation.
No negative connotation. Negative connotation has been brought to us by all these Westerners. And today our thought process is completely changed. So there is nothing negative about being named a Krishna. Today, of course, we have lost that. People who are fair-skinned also, they are called Krishna. That's a different thing altogether, because we don't even know the meaning of the word Krishna. Nobody knows. We only take, okay, it is Krishna, means Bhagavan, his name, so we are keeping his name. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I don't say it should not be. But generally, a person will be called Krishna because he is dark-skinned. When he was born, he was dark-skinned. And in India, especially when you are talking about eastern parts and southern parts, right? These mostly the complexion of the people, most of them, 99% is dark complexioned only. Go to Bengal, go to Kerala, go to Tamil Nadu, and all that. They are dark complexioned only. It's only those who have been as a part of the Himalayas, kind of a thing. That is the north part. They have got fair skin, but there are two reasons for that. One is naturally because of the sun intensity is less there, so they got fair skin. Another thing is there is also been a lot of, Varna Sankaraha in that, foreigners coming, and then, the border states, the northern states, which are open to all sorts of invasions and all. So there again, the genetic mutation has taken place and the skin color, complexions have changed. Otherwise, India, most people are dark complexioned only rather. But what has happened today, we give a very great, add a value to fair complexion. And even when we are talking about getting the daughter-in-law in our house, I know many ladies who want a fair daughter-in-law. If the daughter-in-law is dark, then she is not wanted. But this kind of I would actually call these things animalistic kind of tendencies. They're no different from animals. The person is a human being. What has complexion to do with it? But that has become our current situation rather. So Krishna, or even the word Rama. What is the meaning of Rama? Rama means the one who makes everyone happy. That's all is Rama. There is nothing more to read. It is a Sanskrit word. And Dasharatha, when he saw the beautiful child, first son being born, the name that he gave was, I'm so happy. This child is making me happy, so I'll name it Rama. That much only is there for Rama. Then we say, oh, Rama, this Rama, that. We create stories around that. There is no story. Rama is Ramyate iti Rama. Ramyate anena iti Rama. Who makes everybody happy. That is Rama. Ram Dhatu. So that is how the names and all that, whenever we talk of this, we must never ever attribute any value to these things. Understand them as they are in their actual Sanskrit meanings. That much is there. Anything else we understand is all superimpositions which we have to get rid of. That is first question. Second, your first question was different. What was that? Can you remind me?
Vang manas chitta gocharam. It comes in the Guru Gita. We pray, but we have to understand it.
See, understand means whenever we talk of Paramatma, Parameshwara, we are talking about an entity which is supposed to exist. We cannot experience that entity. Any experience that we gain in our life is based upon the 5 sense organs that we have got, backed by mind and intellect. Correct? These are the instruments, antakaranam as we call it rather, which we have got for gaining knowledge of anything in this world rather. But when we are talking about consciousness or Brahman, whether we can see the consciousness, answer is no. Whether we can, touch the consciousness, answer is no. Whether we can smell the consciousness, answer is no. Whether we can hear the consciousness, the answer is no. So all 5 sense organs, if you look at it, they cannot approach the consciousness. Now, can we actually, because the mind cannot act on its own. Mind acts based upon the inputs that it receives from the sense organs. Correct? So the 5 sense organs, when it comes to consciousness, or for example, limitlessness you take, forget conscious, limitless. Can you see limitlessness with your eyes? If you can see, it is limited. That which you cannot see is limitless, isn't it? Similarly, hearing, touching and all that. So whether you take consciousness or limitlessness, these are not available for experience through the 5 sense organs. And since they are not available for experience by the 5 sense organs, they are not available for experience in the form of any thought by the mind also. Where ultimately the vrittis that are formed in the mind are based upon the inputs received from these sense organs. So it is mana also agochara. It cannot be understood by the mind also.
Okay.
What is then? How do we understand this consciousness? That is why Upanishad says there is a buddhi which is required to understand. That buddhi you require. Without buddhi, you cannot understand anything. So it is vang manas agochara, but it is not buddhi agochara. It is buddhi gochara, because that intellect is where you can understand, and that is why it is said. And intellect, for your information, in our scriptures, whenever we talk about hridaya, it is not the heart. We are talking about the buddhi, the intellect. So when we call hridaya akasha, we are talking about the space in the intellect. Akasha is space. So we say that Bhagavan, Ishvara, Paramatma, Parameshwara is available for discovery in the buddhi. Means what? You can only cognitively understand what Bhagavan is. You cannot experience that Paramatma. That is why he is Vang Manas Buddhi, Vang Manas Agochara. So Vang means all the 5 sense organs. Manas is the one which is behind all the 5 sense organs. Agochara. That is what it is.
Yeah, the word in between is chitta agocharam.
Chitta agocharam, because chittam means, see, our antakaranam is consisting of 4 parts. Mano, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. Correct? So, in this, there is only buddhi part which is operative when we try to understand. The chittam is what? Chittam is nothing but storage of whatever impressions that we have got. Memory. Chittam is memory. Right? You cannot, what you can't experience, you cannot memorize that. What will you memorize? So the Bhagavan. You can memorize a form and name and all. But there is no form, no name. What can you memorize? So Chittam is beyond that. Ahankara which is totally away from that. Right? You have to drop the Ahankara in order to even use your intellect to understand Bhagavan. So Ahankara is the first casualty has to happen, rather. It has to be completely diluted. Otherwise, you won't even go the next step. So that is why, except for Buddhi, other 3 parts of Antakarana are also agochara. They will not, you cannot use it. So, got it? I mean, is that a satisfactory explanation?
Thank you. It is not only satisfactory, it is splitting it up so we can see.
Yeah, you have to understand it that way, analyze it, The Vedanta is all about analysis, analytics rather. Everything you go right to the root of it, you will understand everything very well. If you are just at a superficial peripheral level, you will be confused only rather. So you have to go deep into it rather. And that is where Upanishads help us rather. Because all these things we are not saying, I am not interpreting. It's all said in the Upanishads. I am just telling you that this is what is there in the Upanishads. So why they say agochara like that. So that is
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Right. Hari Om. Then we'll meet next
Hari
Sunday.
Om.
Thank you very much. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you,
Hari
Guruji.
Om. Thank you. Thank you.